It's February, and that means that we are a month out of getting started for the new year. And more than likely, you are having some times or moments where you're like, what was your New Year's resolution and what you were hoping to achieve in the new year? Where that kind of motivation has kind of wore off. And I understand it. And so I want to just talk to you a little bit about what you can do when your New Year's motivation wears off. So welcome back to the show. And we're always talking about topics that impact us in a positive way or not so positive way. And specifically, we're talking about New Year's resolutions or your motivations when they wear off. Because obviously we are in the month of February. It's Black History Month. Shout out to Black people. And, sometimes we have these good intentions for what we want to accomplish in the new year, and we start off strong, and then some of that stuff just fizzles out. And I am one of those people where I've been like, I had plans to do this and this, and the motivation is just like, where is it, And I wanted to just give maybe some practical things that I do to help myself when it comes to when my motivation maybe wear off. Okay, so for example, I know that a lot of times in the new year, we say, I want to lose weight, I want to make more money, right? So let's tackle the two of those, okay? So, first one we're going to talk about is making more money. So, if that means in the year of 2025, we made X amount of dollars, and so in 2026, we want to make this amount of money, a lot of times we're trying to go from this amount to this amount up here, and we are doing all these things that we think are going to get us to that goal, and then we're like, it's not happening. And that has been me. Like, listen, the 2026 started off like 2020 was. I mean, so much stuff happened. A member of my team lost 4 cats in 3 days because there was a virus going around. Another person lost her dad, so she quit like suddenly. It's just been a lot of stuff that has happened in just the month of January. And I was like, I don't have the motivation to do anything, let alone like make more money. I'm like, I just got to make the money that I made last year. You know what I mean? So my motivation to do different things that was going to help me with that was just like, yeah, that it quote unquote died or whatever. But once everything started to calm down, I was just like, okay, let's like regroup, right? I said, let's regroup and let's just see what is going on with us, what are we trying to accomplish, and why are we trying to accomplish those things. And so I started thinking about the money that I want to make in my business and in my life. And I was like, yes, I want to make all this money. But I was just like, how do I feel about what it's going to take to go there? And I just started really being honest. And I was like, oh, I feel a lot of pressure. I feel a lot of stress. And I was like, okay, why don't we focus on not doing that? Okay. What do we need to run our business? What do we need to have a financial success? Okay, I need this amount of money per month. And I was like, okay, this is the number we're going for. That's it. We're going for this amount of money, and that is it. And what that did was it immediately removed pressure, immediately removed all the pressure that I was feeling. And I was like, well, that feels good, right? And so I'm focused on that number for the month of February, and then slightly increasing it in the month of March, and then slightly in April. And by the end of the year, I'll be a lot higher than I was at the beginning, closer to that number, right? And so then when we talk about weight loss, right? We all say we want to lose weight, we want to gain this, we want to do that, all this type of stuff, right? Like I started off the year at 189 and my goal is to be at 160, 155, 150, right? And I'm like, okay, I can focus on trying to lose all that weight all of a sudden, or I can just go, what are the healthy habits I can take every day to do that? Okay. And I struggled with that because I love what I love. I love gummy candy and I love potato chips, right? And what has been happening is that as a result of we were having this like store. Well, I just love chips, and so sometimes you'll go to the store and they'll have like this 5 for $6, and I'm like, yes, get them all. But then for Christmas, my friend bought me this big old bag of gummy bears. It was like individual, like 50 individual bags of gummy bears, and they all have like 10 or 12 in them each. And I'm like, gummy bears. So if they're in the house, I'm like eating them. And then I was like, when we were having a snowstorm, like a storm here in Houston, and when I went to go buy food, it was like the hottest thing to get was potato chips and snacks. And I was like, I got all these Pringles, I got all these hot flaming Cheetos and all this stuff, which I don't normally keep in the house when I'm trying to lose weight. But I bought it all, so guess what? I'm gonna eat it all. So I started eating that, and I'm watching my weight not go down, even though I'm eating fairly well and my meal prepping, drinking water, I'm exercising. It's like it's not doing it, and so I just was like, okay, like this is where we are. You do have these chips in the house, and you've got two choices. You can either eat the chips or you can throw them away, right? I have resulted to eating them, okay? But I do think there's opportunity for me to just give the 2 bags of chips that's left. I could just give them away to somebody. That's what I really think I should do to like get them out, right? Gummy bears, not happening. I'm gonna eat those. Like that's not happening. I'm eating those gummy bears. Okay, these are the real good ones. Anyway, tangent. So I probably will give those away, right? The chips. All right. And so when I was looking at like what is happening, I said, what can I do? All right. I said, okay, what I can do is push myself to exercise and lift weights at night. Got it. Doing well. I can push myself to meal prep on the weekends to where I have my chicken or salmon, I have my quinoa, my broccoli or green beans, and it's like that is available, right? So, okay, I can push myself every morning to drink my protein shake with my probiotics and all that type of stuff in it, drink my water with electrolytes. Okay, so I'm pushing myself to do that, right? And I'm like, and that is good. Then when I go out to eat with friends or whatever, I'm like, it's okay if you want to get lemon pepper wings, but you're going to get a salad too. You're going to eat the salad first and then you're going to eat the other things afterwards, right? And that lets me still enjoy food without, but also giving myself what I need. You know what I mean? The other night, I wanted to eat, but I didn't want to eat what I had meal prepped. But I was like, I knew I should eat something, but I was like, ugh. So I knew I had these cucumbers in the refrigerator, and I was like, there's this cucumber thing that I like to make. Let me just make that. And I've made that 2 nights, I think 3 nights in a row. Actually, it's like, okay, like I'm still getting what I need, but I'm getting the salty thing that I want, the crunchy. I'm still getting that same feel that I want without the potato chips, without this and this and this. And I'm like, okay, so let's keep that in the house all the time because that constantly nourishes this desire that I have for the salty, chippy type thing. And it's really good for me because cucumbers is like so much water and my body loves it like when it's time to like go to the restroom or whatever, TMI. And I'm like, okay, that is what we're going to do, right? And I'm watching myself where the weight is starting to come off. I just lost a pound last week and I'm like, okay, 1 pound, right? And the goal this year is 40. And I'm like, okay, if I just lose, what is it, 3 pounds, about 3 pounds a month, right? Then I'm like, I will hit my goal at the end of the year. 3 pounds a month, let's go for that. All right. And so that's where we're going to focus is 3 pounds a month and not all these other big things or whatever. And so for me, when my motivation is wearing off, I remind myself that I'm usually pressing myself to do something too big, too fast. And I need to go, what are some of the little things that I can change? What are some little things that I can change that to help, right? So like I've lost weight and I've been working on my fashion, but I'm not really good at it. And so instead of me putting on the same outfit, I will go into the closet and say, okay, I am going to put on those pants and I'm going to try to find something that matches it. And what I'm finding is I'm finding it where I'm able to learn how to match little things together. And I'm like, oh, this actually looks really cute. And I've gone out and people say, oh my God, your outfit is so cute. And I'm like, thanks. And it's helping me to not do a complete overhaul, get rid of all my clothes, buy all new clothes, but just trying to match this with this thing here or this with this thing here. And I'm just like slowly just like taking these little steps at a time to do these little things. You know what I mean? Like one of my motivations last year was I wanted to help with hyperpigmentation underneath my underarms because it's like I have dark spots under my underarms. And I was like, it's been that way for a long time. So we are just going to take it one step at a time of doing body scrubs and introducing little things into our skincare regimen as we shower. And I just do it every single day. And I looked at my underarms today and I was like, oh, things are looking a lot lighter than they were before. And I'm like, great, everything is good, right? And so I'm not trying to change a lot of things all at once. And I'm just giving myself the gift of doing a little bit at a time, right? Like a little bit at a time. And it feels really good to do the little bit. I don't feel as much pressure. I don't feel as guilty about what isn't happened yet. I'm just like, it's just these little things at a time. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to say that because we're in the month of February, you're probably a little less motivated than you were coming out of 2025. And I would encourage you choose what's one goal that you can go after this year. Like one. Great if you hit five, but what is one? And you can actively pursue that, right? What is just one? Okay. One of my built goals is losing 40 pounds. It's like, okay, we are going to lose 40 pounds. Okay, one goal. Now, about 5 years ago, I think 5 years ago, one of my goals was to start investing. I don't know anything about investing. And so I heard this podcast where somebody was talking about acorns, where it can take out a certain amount of money per month, put it in an account and invest it. And then it can round up every day or something like that and put the money in there. And so I was like, okay, I'll set up acorns. It was like 5 years ago, maybe 4 or 5, I don't know how many years ago. And I was like, it take out $30 a day and puts in acorns. And then it always rounds up the change and puts it there. And then if I shop at certain stores like Chevron or whatever, it will add other dollars or money to it or whatever. And so I did that, and I don't really think a whole lot about acorns until I get the email once a month. And me and my best friend were talking about investing, and I was, because she's really good with money, and I was like, well, what are you doing? And she hasn't started yet. And I said, well, I'm doing this thing with acorns, and I was like, I think I have a couple $1,000s in there. Like I think it's like 7,000. And she's like, what? So then when I checked it, it was like $12,000 was in there. And she was just like, oh my God. I'm like, oh my God. But all I did was I made this one little decision of like, I don't understand all the things about investing, but I can turn that thing on where it's $30 a day and it is rounding up the change and it's there and I don't do anything with it. And I'm watching that money begin to grow over there, right? And so then that's it, right? And so I'm just taking these little things and not trying to go after all the things. And it makes me feel good because it's little stuff. I don't feel pressure to like, all this other, it's not all this big things, you know what I mean? And it feels good to just try these little things that just over time gets a little better, a little better, and a little better. And the next thing you know, 6 months, 12 months later, you're like, wow, look at how far I've come. Okay, so I want to encourage you, and I want to ask you to tell me in the comments here on YouTube, what is one thing you want to accomplish this year, and how can you do little things in order to be able to hit that?